Stay over there. Oh, it looks like there's nobody here. Oh, may as well not bother streaming then. And there I am, looking terrible. Hello everybody. Everybody who's not actually here, because I rarely stream. So therefore YouTube has decided, let's not bother letting anybody know. Let's get this cleaned. Hey, Electro Rip. It looks someone's here. I'm not quite sure why I'm bothering to clean, because I'm just going to... This is for a build, not for a repair. Still mucky. The light up here is just not quite right. Come here, you. That's more like it. Hey, let us repair. Hey, Pedro. Right, yeah, all the usual culprits are here. Okay. We have a new suction tool. This one turned up the other day, and I've already had to modify it. First thing I did is I changed the lead to an Australian lead. Fortunately, I just took it out of the old aquarium pump, this aquarium pump. So I just took the lead out of there, put it in there, wired it straight up to the solenoid transformer they have in there. I didn't bother with any of the electronics that they normally have, and the reason being is because these things do come with a variable sort of power rate controller, but it's terrible. I'll show you. I'm much better off without it. Hey Joe. It's like, this is the one they sent me, and I mean, okay, yeah, but that's it there. These are basically DIAC, variable DIAC trigger point controllers. They can leave a bit of choppy noise on your mains rails, but fortunately for something like this, it doesn't do a lot of damage. But check that out. Yeah, that's some high quality, which doesn't even switch over. Why are you not switching over? Oh, because I haven't got you running. Okay, hang on there. Now we're going to go. Okay. But yeah, have a look at that. That's some high quality work there. If that didn't catch on fire sooner or later, I don't know what. What have we got? A BT-131. I'm actually not sure what that is. That there's going to be a DIAC. And honestly, that DIAC has seen better days. It's like it's been pulled from something else. Yeah, goodness knows how long these have been sitting around. But basically, what happens is when you change this, the DIAC... Oh, this will be a little triac probably. It doesn't conduct until a certain voltage threshold. And then when that does, it turns the triac on, and then the power goes through. But yeah, it results in fairly noisy power line activity. So I'm glad I got that out of there. Yeah, this is 240 volt rated. Not really. Scary, scary stuff. So yeah, that's a bin job. But now that that terrifying piece of electronics has been removed, I've used the same cable assembly. I've still got the thumb press for the air control. They do have a fingertip control here, you know, put your finger on there, but the trouble is I find, at least for myself, when I'm doing pick and place, I don't want to be worried about trying to, you know, lift my finger like that. It's easy for me to use the other hand. This is just the simple move it action. So that's that up and working. The other announcement, of course, is that we have successfully now got XZZ PCBs being decoded in FlexBoard view. And though I've got to say I'm a little disappointed, not a lot of activities going on out there, so I'm feeling a bit anticlimatical. A little bit like, oh, well, what was the point? But it's nice to actually have that done. And I guess in due time people are going to be making a little bit more noise about it, I hope. Otherwise, I wonder what the hell I spent all the time and effort for. Hey there, John L. Just noticed you there. Alright, let's get this stenciling underway. We need to build ourselves some USB-C meters. This will be the first time I'm using that new suction pen. A little bit of curvature on the PCB at the moment. Sometimes that happens, they just start getting a, I don't know whether it's moisture or whatever, but they start getting a little bit of a bend in them. Hey, Monsieur. Okay, is that right? Might help if I put my glasses on. Now I'm hoping with the combination of the glasses and the new pickup pen, I might actually have a chance of doing a reasonable job this time. I need to find a pot to start putting all this solder paste into, and then I can use this solder paste for doing BGAs and things like that. Hey Tony W, welcome. So I guess for a reasonable portion of the world, you guys have all just had Black Friday and Thanksgiving and all that. All that turkey time. Personally, I think Black Friday's kind of lost its luster, so to speak. You know, there's not really many crazy specials that are going on anymore. It's more like 10% off. And you're like, oh, what's the point? You know, how's that any different from any other day? I'd rather them have less products for sale, but have like 50% off and stuff like that. Maybe the problem is that they created too many terrifying crowd crush situations that they've, well, we better tone this down. Instead now it seems like basically Turkey weekend and Good Friday just become the gateway to, well, it's the Christmas silly season now. Okie dokie. Let's see if we can get this in 2 clean swipes. Not really. Bit of a problem with those. Oh, that's okay. It's good enough. Good enough. Clean enough in my book. If it reflows, it goes. Go. I'm gonna do something about my screen. Damn it. No, I've repositioned my lights and now I can't really read what's on the screen properly. There's too much glare. It's never perfect. Yeah, I think that'll do. That will do. Already on Sunday? What? Wait, where? Are you New Zealanders? Yes. For as advanced as Australia is, New Zealand will always be that little bit earlier, better, first, ahead of us. Alright. The pink kitty is translucent today. What? What's that mean? Here we go. I should be able to pick these things out now. I said should. There we go, we did. Oh yeah, you can hear that. Very positive suction. Okay, Mr. Daniels, you've got half your boards upside down. That would have been rather entertaining. Not for me though. I didn't see you earlier. Oh, I thought I did. Oh. Okay, my bad. Seems like I'm just missing everything. What the flip? Well, it's definitely got a much stronger hold, I'll grant it that. Certainly superior to my previous attempt. So I'm happy for that. And the glasses are helping, I can pretty much line it up. The only thing I would say is I probably want a shorter tube. It's a little bit too long, maybe about an inch too long. Might cut that down later. Goddamn SOT 23s. Of all the packages, these are the ones that just intrinsically do not like to land the right way up. Like in terms of actual stability, they are more stable on their backs. And that's where they keep wanting to go. Hey, Mr. Morgan! I haven't had a chance to deal with the post office about you. So what I just can't believe them though, because normally they'd say, oh okay, you're going to need to get the seller, or the sender rather, you're going to need to get the sender to do a insurance claim for you. But I just can't believe the way they just said, oh well, so sad, too bad. Yeah, we'll try and get it sorted out, otherwise we'll sort something out, okay? But yeah, I was a bit shocked. Well, shocked and not shocked concurrently. Having dealt with the Postal Department a long time. But the discussion you reported to me sort of set new low standards. Flippin' hell. I just landed that LED straight into the middle of the big pad for the SOT 223, which we don't even use. Well, no, I mean, not really. Okay, sure. I mean, I dispatched the package correctly and it got there correctly and all that sort of business, but the Postal Service needs to cover that. And typically they do found it frustrating, but they put the put it on the seller, which I sort of understand. Personally, I think it should be whichever party wants to come forward and deal with it. But from a legal perspective, the seller has to be the one that invokes the request. But I know they've deliberately structured it that way because a lot of the time the seller really just doesn't want to be involved and they just do their best to get you to give up. The whole industry, in fact, you know what, it's not just postal industry, it's so many industries are engineered that way that... Wait, what the hell? What am I doing putting 10 ohm resistors across the rage fueling in my blood is making me install components in the wrong place. That would have been hilarious. Yes, the Postal Service is never responsible, nor are doctors, lawyers, insurance companies, you name it. None of them are responsible. And it's extremely frustrating. And all they'll give you are nice, cheap words. They'll get someone talk nicely to you who basically has no power to do anything. That's pretty much how it works. Like if someone is listening to you and empathizing with you and sounding like they understand what's going on, it means they do not have the power to do anything to help you. This thing is blowing me a kiss every time I let go of it. Hey, Microsoft Blind. And Mr. Bodger's here too. Hey, Brads. Hope you're getting paid for that pick and placement. Get paid if I can sell the units. Fortunately, in my case, although unfortunately in some ways, I've already sold a few of the devices and I don't have them. So that's why I'm sitting here on a Saturday night being a human pick and place machine. I don't like reactively manufacturing. It's kind of like getting money for the job. a job, and you're like, now I don't feel like doing the job because I've already got the money for the job. Pick and place for these USB meters is a little bit more difficult than the LED meters. The LED aren't LED meters. The LED lights are much easier in many ways. And it helps that I've got the turntable to make, just spin it around and very quickly install a lot of those LEDs. Need to assemble 24 through-hole PCBs for sale for the end of the year. Big boards, nine valves. Jeez. It sounds like a space heater. Yeah, getting paid up front is a real pain. It just completely messes with you psychologically. I know some people love it, but I'm not one of those people. Yeah, you need that's right, you need the drive. And it can be tricky because you might not have the capital to buy the parts sometimes. Which is why I like to make sure I'm in a situation where I always have sufficient cash on hand to ensure I don't rely on the customer giving me money in order to commence the project in that respect. I know for some people it's like, well, it makes no difference at all. It really does mess with your head. Hey, Mr. Howes, I'm wondering if you'll be here tonight. I was thinking, it's late enough, early enough, so to speak, that we might get to see you. Thank you very much for turning up. Did you have a Thanksgiving or anything like that? Your doctor is responsible over here. Ah, man. The thing is, they still get a hell of a lot of money, even when you don't get cured. If I don't fix someone's machine, I don't get the money. I guess that's why we have, the whole no fix, no fee policy. That's all good and fine if you're actually having a really good, if the market is in a really good place. But as soon as the market starts to sag, it's like that's got to go out the window real fast. Ah, damn it! Where's my box of goodies? Mr. Howard did his PayPal thing. Let's go and have a look, see what we owe good thanks to. Jeez, Paul. Thank you very much, Mr. Paul Howe, once again. 100 in the PayPal. Always appreciated. Always goes to the keeping the household sustained and alive. Certainly not going to anything frivolous. The air conditioner on our 22-year-old car gave up, and they want $2,500 to fix it because it's mostly a labour job. The actual part itself is only like $100, but to get into it, that's the expensive bit. And needless to say, that will not be getting replaced. We'll just live with it. Live with it. There are more important, more pressing priority things that we want to deal with. We are looking back to the situation now where we're thinking of installing basically a 6-foot pool type fence just outside here, and it will line up with the long run of the house. And the reason why we want that is so that come around about, say, 10 o'clock at night, we will bring all the fur kids in, but then they can go out into that and this is under a 6x6 meter garage carport. So they'll be able to go outside and be outside in a protected area, like we have the big pool fence all around. They can't get out, but they've got access to like dirt area and lounging around, the cool night air, just to try and get the pressure down. Yeah, AC is, I mean, I don't mind the heat, but yeah, AC is an imperative. Electricity bill for this month was $638, and we were trying to cut that down too. And we've got solar. Terrifies me to think what it could be if we didn't have solar. There's still so much improvement we could make on the house in terms of insulation, things like that, but they're big projects. What I am thinking of doing is getting I think about $400 or $500, a powered extractor fan unit for the house in the roof space, and just sort of like suck all the hot air out, which of course draws in cooler air from the underside. I've got to do something, because even if it's cool outside, it's still hot inside. And you can have all the doors open, everything like that, and the airflow in this house just does not seem to happen properly. But if I open up one of the big side windows here on like my admin office, you'll get a massive gush of air. Air will flow through, but it doesn't seem to propagate very well or consistently down the rest of the house. So yeah, I'm going to have to do something like active cooling, airflow, something like that, because if we could capitalize on the outside air at night, that would be great. There are a lot of solar powered ones out there, but that is actually not really necessary. I really need something that's going to be powered by like a 15 volts or 20 volts or whatever at night. That's when it really matters. I'm sure drawing in air during the day is going to help too, but it's really at night when we want it. Because when the days are hot here, it's like you're facing someone's got a hairdryer in your face. And so if you're just sucking that air into the ceiling space, it's probably not doing a damn thing. Hey Teresa, good to see you. You're a ranger that loves the heat. That is actually an interesting combination, yeah. Alright. Let's get the big hot plate up. I think we've got everything on here. I kind of feel like I missed something. Hopefully I didn't. That's not. Yes, Teresa, good spot. And when I put that up there, I was thinking, I wonder if Teresa's going to see that in my next live stream whenever I have that. So yeah, thank you very much to Teresa. She sent that printer through to us, through to me, and it has certainly been extremely helpful. Hello, Gecko. Extractor on. I could use something like one of these 8-inch extractors that I've got for the fumes right now. They'll do around about 1,000 cubic meters an hour or something like that. Wouldn't even really need any filtering. I just simply have to put it on one side of the wall, like up in the ceiling space, and have it blast out air. Not sure whether it'd be better for me to blast it onto the hot side and have it drawing in from the cool side, like obviously our eastern wall. Well, actually not obviously. For us, the eastern wall is the cooler part of the house. So I can either, I think I'd be better off blowing out the hot side, and that would generally draw the cool air towards it. Prusa is a massive upgrade over the Ender 3, but for the price it had, well, that is true, yeah. And I mean, the Ender 3 is going great for me. I did a few other things recently. It's very much a case of it sits and does nothing for a while, and then I do a bunch of projects, and then it goes back and pauses. We're at 78, we've got a little way to go. Yeah, Rilla, I think I'm going to have to do it. Yeah, there's plenty of solar ones for about $500, and we do have 2 whirlybirds on the roof, but they don't really do much. I don't think I'll bother trying to modify them. I really think I need to look at drawing the air or blowing the air out the side. So Brad, how big are these boards of yours? I mean, I know you got 9 valves, so what are they? They've got to be like A4 size boards or bigger? Already got 55 days worth of printouts. Crikey. You've been busy. Yeah, send me any information, JDT. Yep. Took me a second then to realise JDT, Joey Does Tech. 129 takes a while, this thing. 450 by 1, that's a big board. 2-sided or 4? Darius, welcome. Another Ender 3 user. I have to agree, yeah, the Ender 3, at least it's got the thing as cheap. Everybody knows the Ender 3. There's plenty of accessories for it. It does the job well enough. It's hard to complain about it. It's a good starter item. And I mean, I use it to still print out the ring light adapters. 2-sided 2-ounce copper. That's some heavy stuff. 2 mil thick. That's a serious board. Must feel nice though when you get the freshly made boards. Are you getting them done through places like JLC or PCB Way? But yeah, I can imagine that'd feel nice to get those fresh boards, thick, heavy boards like that. About 70, we're just about hitting the threshold now. I gotta say, I am really happy that we managed to crack the XZZ file format, because it did have an encrypted section. It wasn't just obfuscated with bit shifting or anything like that. There was a legit section that we had to decrypt with a key. Fortunately for us, it was DES encryption, and fortunately I managed to guess that. And then a fellow called Muroto, he was the one who worked out what the key was, and we were kind of shocked when we found out what the key was. It wasn't a word or anything like that, but looking at the key, it's kind of like, wow, yeah, that was not expected. And it wasn't 1, 2, 3, 4, but it wasn't far off, put it that way. Hey David. So yeah, so now we can read the XZZ PCB files, but we've got a bit of a chicken and egg problem whereby nobody really has been collecting or sharing. We do have a big blob of an archive, and we've got that on, it's been shared around on torrents. But now we have to sort of transition to the point where people will start collecting and downloading those files with the intent to keep and hand them out. And it's fantastic because now finally we can do a lot of stuff offline without this software that snoops on your system. Now I usually keep my systems isolated so they don't see anyone else in the network and vice versa, but you still would rather not have things sending information or gathering information that it's not supposed to. I don't care if they say no, 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 it doesn't do that. I don't believe. I just don't believe that. There's been far too many scenarios where software from certain countries has this predisposition to collect information it's not supposed to, and then sends it back off. And the nice thing about FlexBV is that it will actually run properly offline. And I just knocked that. I knocked the connector on one of them when I took it off. That's okay. So for me, I'm hoping that I'll be able to get people in security situations that have to do repairs. I'm hoping I'll be able to get that kind of market to start buying the software, because then they can work on the boards that they need to work on without having to be online. Now, the password wasn't password, but like I said, it really wasn't far off. It was a real shocker. What was frustrating though is that we probably had found the key the day before, but because the software that I wrote for doing the decoding test, so like the software I wrote, we had a block that I had guessed would have a particular part name in it, and then we would apply the key to that block of data and then see if the part name came out. But where it went wrong is that with this particular encryption, they were using what we call big endian number stuffing. So they would put the biggest digits up the front, whereas Intel and stuff like that, we tend to use little endian, so the littlest are up the front. So it's reverse stuffing. Anyway, because of that reversing, it didn't look like we had the key because the data was coming out gibberish still. But then there was another site, thankfully, that we tested it on, and in that site, the data came out, and sure enough, the part name was in there, and I was like, great, that's it. So knowing that, I went back, worked out what was wrong with the software, reversed the stuffing of the bits, all works fine. So that was a bit of a almost missed the opportunity type thing. Let's see if we can fix up that. I mean, that is perfectly Chinese acceptable. Actually, that's not. Funnily enough, on this board, that there wouldn't really make a difference, even though it's not sitting on it properly, because there is so much decoupling going on everywhere else. That's kind of the reason why you throw so many of these 100 nanofarads and such down, because you figure, well, if one or two of them aren't doing the job properly, the rest of them will pick up the slack. Hey there, PR. Anyway, let's focus on this. So we've got no bridges there, that's good. No bridges there, that's good. It's actually kind of surprising. Really, there's a couple of caps on there that haven't sat down properly. That's annoying. Wow, that's some solid bridging going on there. Alright. And one up there. Ooh. Yeah. Okay, didn't do such a good job tonight. Bridge clear. Again, like I said, this is knocked. I'll have to heat that back. I'm not sure why tonight things didn't quite go as smoothly as I want. Oh well, that's fine. Let's rework it and get it back. Information is being delivered. Very good. I will have to check that after this stream. So we need to realign that a bit better and bring that one in. Yeah, Brad, I really find through-hole a major pain these days. Like, I mean, as a kid, sure, it was like all you had. You'd get those kits and, bend the leads, all that sort of stuff. And it was fine as a kid. But I gotta say, when surface mount came to market, I was all on board. I was like, yep, surface mount is my thing. Okay, let's try and not melt this, eh? Ah, sorry. I just flipped it around because one end obviously had solder on it, the other one didn't seem to. Come on, leaded solder, do your job. Oh great, the other side's... I've got to hold out on the other side. No, too far. No, yep, okay, good. That cap's annoying me. No option other than through hole for 500 volt multiple amp gear. Oh, okay. Shame, I would have thought that maybe some portions of it could have been surface mount, but, I mean, maybe it can, but you might be in the situation of like, well, if we're going to be doing through hole, we may as well be thorough and do all holes through. Okay, so those ones look okay. There's that one. Yeah, for some reason, this one here and this one, they obviously had too much solder there. Oh well. Biggest reason the valves just spontaneously go short circuit, so your current limiting pieces. Oh, okay, fair enough then. I suppose that's a valid reason. Speaking of unfortunate like shorts and stuff like that, I had a chap come in, he bought an iPhone 8 to me, and he said, he plugged it in, it wasn't working, it just died. And I was like, fair enough, so I checked it, and sure enough, it was dead as a doornail, not really worth trying to resurrect it. And he says, well, I got an iPhone 7, can you make that work? And I was like, just a bad screen and port, that's fine, cleared that up. But then he took that home, he plugged it into the charger that the other one had been plugged into, and guess what happened to the iPhone 7? Yeah, it went pfft. And that was rather dreadfully unfortunate. And it was a cheap charger, cheap cable from dollar store type thing. It was a very good example of why they're not good ideas. I got to give credit to the guy though. I offered him $50 back on the job, just a sort of a pity refund, so to speak, although I probably would have taken the iPhone 7 from him for, I don't even know why, not like I need it for parts or anything, but he declined. He says no, he says that one was my fault, and so I've got to give him props for that, that's for sure. You don't get a lot of people who are willing to take that kind of personal responsibility. A lot of people do try to push it back onto you and say, well, you only just put the screen on, can't you just use the screen for someone else and give me $100 back or whatever? But no, this bloke was straight up. Says, no, that one was mine. Anyway, he's going to bring another phone around the next day or two. I'm fairly sure he's not going to plug this one into that scene. I bagged up the charger and everything and said, not a good thing that whatever was coming out of that charger. I should have put like I don't know, 100. Ah, damn it! I just realised I haven't got a cap there. I knew I'd miss something sooner or later. Again, that's just 100 nanofarads, so it's no biggie. Is OBS okay? OBS as in Open Broadcaster, or what am I missing here? Glitching. Yeah, I see it. It could be the torrent. Give me a second. Mo?
You didn't get to give me. No.
Yeah, sorry, I was running a torrent, just seeding another set of files, trying to not be a complete leech on the universe with these new data files that everybody's going to want. But unfortunately, because we have a short-sighted, stupid government, which is redundant, I agree, instead of having fiber to the premises here, we only have fiber to the node, which means I am stuck at 20 megabit per second upload max. I used to be at 40 megabit per second max, but then I got tricked, I suppose, into downgrading to 20 megabit up. Because what happened is I noticed that they were advertising the same service, or at least I thought it was the same service as what I was using for, I think it was $79, and I was paying something like $95 from the same company. And I said to him, what's the deal? I said, you're charging me $95, but you're advertising for $79. And they're like, oh, sorry sir, we can change you over to that. And I was like, yeah, okay, thanks. Little did I realise in the small text was the fact that the reason why I was being charged 95 is because I was on a 140 line and they dropped me down to a 120. And as soon as I worked that out, I was like, oh, listen, I'll pay the extra, can you put it back to the 40? And they're like, nope, can't do it. And that is the story of how I lost my 40 megabit upload. Yeah, the upload speed, like I said, just wasn't advertised. And see, when that happened, it was only just starting to come out into the industry. Prior to that, everybody was 140, or you were on 25.1 or something like that. So this whole 120 stuff was just unheard of. But certainly I hadn't heard of it. And yeah, so I lament the day that I made that call. Yeah, 95 per month, although it is unlimited. And honestly, I was getting the advertised speed, so that's what made it even more painful. It'd be different if you're like only getting a miserable 20 or something, and then you go, okay, fair enough, you know, no one's winning here, so I'll take the cut. But nope, I had I had the speed, and then I lost it. Another tragic lost love story in my life. Yeah, Starlink does generally provide as good or better, but I do have the landline. I kind of prefer the landline for now. Okay. Alright, they all program good and fine. Now I've got to just backfill. Hey, B-Blood. Don't want to know the price around here. Okay, now you're just making us want to know the price, Cirilla. You baited us into asking by withholding information. Cirilla the trickster. I do wish they would produce a USB-C connector like this, but with slightly longer legs. Like, I know that they're making these ones short because a lot of the boards that they get installed onto are, you know, thinner, like 0.8 or something like that. But damn it, Jim, I need my 1.6. 40 quid unlimited, 7 down. What? Oh, so what the hell? Jeez, that's like first world prices and service, man. You're right, I didn't want to know that. That's really good. And the thing is, we should have had that. But thanks to our conservative government of the day that decided to win the election with bullshit, they switched us over to this fibre to the node bollocks, mixed mode, mixed whatever, end up costing us more, taking longer and delivering less. Actually, wait, that sounds just like normal government. Ah, well. But yeah, we should have had fibre to the premises. But everybody ran scared. Oh no, we don't need that. It's like, you don't build these big infrastructure projects for the needs of today, you build them for the needs of tomorrow. And then of course you had all the people going, there's no point, wireless is going to take over soon. And it's like, no, it really isn't. Wireless will never take over a physical link. But of course, as usual, the average person decides that they're an expert on this stuff, and the experts must be wrong. Yeah, that was a great tragedy. I'm not sure we will have an opportunity to repair that damage. in the next 50 years. I have a feeling we're just going to limp along with the crappy network that we've got. Hell, maybe Starlink will become so good that it won't matter anyway. But that said, we really should have had fibre to the premises. I guess it's tragic because, as good as Starlink can be or is going to be, fibre to the premises, how are you going to beat that? The only way you're going to beat fibre to the premises is have two fibres to the premises. Zoltan, at least you got gigabit. I mean, that's 10 times better than what we've got. I mean, realistically, they can't offer more than what they are now with the VDSL. That pretty much tops out at 140 at the best of days. Come on, man, get in there. Gee, I hope that wicked up. Anyway, I really wish that these connectors would come in a longer leg variety. Save me having to do this. I suppose the alternative is to have a flat pad exterior on them. But I'm not a big fan of the flat pad exterior for this kind of physical connection. I do prefer to have the through board connector, just to give it that mechanical bite, rigidity. Particularly too that this is not, it doesn't have an external bracket or anything like that to constrain the potential movement of the connector. That's all that done. Well, thank you, Brad. The good old lockdown days. I hate to say it, but I kind of miss them. I miss the quietness that came with the COVID lockdowns. Because that was fine for me because, I got my wife, I got the fur kids, and I'm in a quiet town. We were still getting deliveries. So it was basically my perfect kind of world in many ways. But for a lot of other people, obviously, it was tragically difficult, and, I'm not wishing the quieter times at their expense. I'm just more saying that for me it was actually a pretty good combination. You missed the lockdowns. Shop front is on main road and the signs. Yeah, that's basically what I'm experiencing here. When everybody was sort of housebound, the road out front was just beautiful. It was really nice. You don't realize how noisy things are until the noise stops. And then, as I say, the silence can be deafening. Now it's back to the usual bollocks out there. Miss the lack of having hair. That's the other thing. I miss it's obviously an introvert thing. And you had the power of everything behind you when you said, no, I don't actually feel like socializing. So yeah, for a lot of introverts, it was actually a fantastic time. Ignoring the fact that people were getting sick and dying, but that aside, so long as the couriers kept running, then I was happy. Hey Joho, yeah, proper introvert basement dwelling, yeah, uh, nothing much changed. Certainly didn't hear, other than the fact it was quieter and nicer. Yeah, Brad, I'm the same here. I will, be focused on my code or doing whatever, just happily. Probably still in my pajamas. And then the doorbell goes, ding dong. And I'm like, crap, damn it, crap, bastard, damn it. And then you go, customer face. Hi, how you going? Yeah, good to see you. What can I do for you today? Oh, you got a broken phone? You need a new phone screen? Yeah, no problem. We'll get that fixed for you in 1 hour. And it cost you $150. Yep, make sure you drop back in an hour. No, don't need your passcode. Don't need that. It'll be all good. If there's any dramas, let me know. I'll see you in an hour. Take the face off. Get back to, goddamn customers hate customers. Why can't they just give me their money and run? Why do they have to talk to me? Yep. That's how it works for me. Any of my customers watching this are going to be like, did you do that to me? Oh, no, not you. But it's the other customers that I do that to. Yeah. But yeah, it's... when you're younger, you learn, you got to have that attitude when you're in sales and, dealing with customers and things like that. And I did many years of it. But I'm definitely happy to not be doing it anymore. Blocked all consumer stuff this month. Oh, okay. But just too much backlog, and you've got those boards to do too. And of course, as you said before, they've already paid for it, which makes it twice as hard at least. Maybe more. Alright. I'm not going to deny I'll be actually happy if I don't have to make these things anymore. I mean, nothing personal against anyone or anything like that, but realistically, and I've said this right from the start, I do not enjoy manufacturing. I love designing, but manufacture, no. For me, once a problem is solved, I've got a board out for it or whatever, I really just want to hand that off to someone else and let someone else who enjoys doing this kind of work do it. I'm the wrong person for this kind of work. But you do it because I'm not paying anyone else to do it at the moment, and no one's offering to buy a license for it. And realistically, no one will buy a license to manufacture these because they can just look at them and go, I'll buy one of those and then I'll start manufacturing my own. And what am I going to do? I can't stop them. People are like, yeah, there's copyright and intellectual property. And it's like, if there's one thing you learn is that unless you have a war chest and you have a lot of lawyers, it's pretty much pointless. And if you do have a war chest and lawyers and stuff like that, all you're really trying to do in that particular instance is actually just cash drain your opponent. It doesn't matter whether you think you're going to win or not. The main thing is you just want to try and cash drain them. And that's how companies like Apple and such mostly work. It doesn't matter whether they legally have a case, whether they can legally win. It's a situation if they know that they've got a couple of $1 billion to waste and they're willing to waste it on you. Take manufacturing job, cheap hour rate. It's fine if you can find something else to occupy your mind with while you're doing it, but yeah. And this, you can basically look at that, and just looking at it, you can pretty much tell what it's doing, how it's doing it, what the parts are most likely going to be, and that's it. And it's actually a good example of why this ideas are easy, doing things is hard. And that's just it. Yeah, people can come up to me and they go, "Oh, I've got a great idea for this," and I'll give you a cut in the profits, whatever. It's like, I've got plenty of ideas. I've got no shortage of ideas. I've got ideas coming out of the wazoo. The hard part is actually having the time, the energy, and the investment to implement those ideas and make them a reality. Hey, Richard Morg. Been a little while. How have you been? Ach, nee, man, come on. There. Gee, that was annoying. So much so that I think if you look at this board, and if you're an electronics engineer or designer or whatever, and if you can't reverse engineer that, knowing that you already know its purpose, and you can't reverse engineer that just simply by looking at that, then, yeah, not to pull the whole one true Scotsman type fallacy, but it is something you should be able to do. The design really isn't a problem. There'll be some complications in making sure you source the right parts, things like that, but that's really more the logistics side of it, not the design part. So yeah. Hardest part of design has been finalised in the bill of materials documentation. Yeah, that's stuff that makes you puke. Yeah. I managed to do the manual with FlexBoard View, thankfully, and it's actually been very helpful. When I get support emails coming through, how do you do this? And I'm just like, click, click, there you go. All good. Yep, you can see now. Fortunately, I found a piece of software that was very handy for doing that kind of thing. It would produce the MD format text files, which is like a markdown language. That's it. And it just made it easy to do it. You just type what you want, and it did a pretty simple structure, and I was happy with that. And yeah, the firmware is the other thing. Even this with the firmware, it's not really that much, because you know that I'm just simply taking the data out of that current sense chip and shoving it down the line. That's all I'm doing. There's more firmware difficulty probably in doing the display with the limited amount of capacity that the microcontroller has. And you've got two choices with that. The popular choice now would be, well, we'll just use an STM32 and then it doesn't matter. We'll just run a whole Linux stack on that without any problem. So for 50 cents more, you solve that problem very quickly. You just use a big fat printer, full floating point numbers and everything. No need to create any fancy fixed bit width functions or anything like that. Anyway, okay, they're all working fine. So now I can retire for the night knowing that I've done my job. I do still have to shrink wrap them, but I tend to leave that for later. Okay. Glasses off. What are we for time? 23:26. We've been going for an hour and 14, so it's not too bad. Hour 20. A little bit longer than I would like. I usually like to get 4 done in 1 hour, so it took a bit longer. Suspicious that JLC minimum run is 5 times and you're making 4. It's because I bought a stack of 25. Where is it? Yeah, here we go. So that's my stack. Still got a few to go. ESP32, yeah. There's so many microcontrollers out there now that can eliminate the vast majority of what would otherwise be a firmware development delay in this. You just simply create the simplest little C program you need to and be done. I put a little bit more time into this just simply so I could do both the serial port communications and then also the generation for this. The I2C communication to the LCD is probably the one thing that would be a little bit annoying, because the timings on talking to these particular LCDs is a little bit fickle. So if you use a pre-existing library, it would probably give you grief. It seems like it works for a little bit, and then you turn your back and it stops working, things like that. They're a little bit bad for that. Alright, that's it. That's it for tonight. Thank you all for watching, and much appreciated. Thank you also, Paul Howe, again, for that $100 PayPal contribution. You know that will always be used very well here, and definitely always appreciated. If you guys haven't already checked it out, if you are using FlexBV, go get the very latest version, because it does have the XZZ decoder part in it now. It's the start of the process for XZZ now, as in the sense that what you can see there is the board view itself, the actual board and the parts. There's quite a lot more yet to come, but I wanted to get something out the door that we were already able to use. As in the board view, you can get the networks up, you can tie it to the schematic and things like that. Things yet to come out are I have to create an algorithm that will allow us to split the board views, because the ones that come out of their program are actually a single plane board. So with FlexBV, normally you have a top and bottom side and you flip them and they are distinct from each other, whereas with these PCB files, they go along and they actually have them both concurrently as if it's a single sheet. And so for this sort of situation, this sort of situation, the obvious thing is you cut in the middle, transfer those, flip the side, things like that. That's not a problem. But there are a lot of different corner cases where that algorithm doesn't work so well. So I am working on an algorithm that will try the split, detect if it's succeeded or not. If it hasn't, it'll go back to just the single sheet form. If it has succeeded, fine, yeah, that's all good. But I need to be able to make that work with a very high success rate. Otherwise, people are going to be loading up these files and they're going to come out looking quite mangled, and they're not going to be happy about that. So better to have the lesser featured single sheet version than the more featured but mangled double side version. Brad, thank you very much for the 20. Thank you. Cheers to you too. Alright. Has Michael had his incident? Yes, he had that before I started the stream. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Till then, you all take care. Thank you again. I'll see you all later.